on pole, Eddie Kattenberg, Scotty Finlay and Dean Bentley making up the front row. We've got the lights coming on, and we are out and going. Jean-Louis got a great start. Dean Bentley as well got a great start off the outside of the first row. Chris Sales on the XR500, he's up the inside. He come from the second row on the grid, so down into turn one it will be Jean-Louis on the awesome blue FZR 1000. You've got number 15 of Eddie Kattenberg there in second place, right on his tail. So these guys have had some great battles so far in the Suzuki International Series, and we're on here. This is scheduled for a 10-lapper, so underway. Scotty Finlay there in third place. He's the first of the junior bikes going through with Dean Bentley and Chris Sales. Kieran O'Neill's in there as well. So the third, fourth, fifth and sixth on the race. That is the top four in the junior class, Spider, and it's going to be another good one, I think.
Yeah, you might be questioning what it means by senior and junior. The senior was the Formula 1 on the day, the junior was the Formula 2. It's nothing to do with age of the riders, so that's what it's all about. So we've got a mixture out there. Right at the tail end, we've got Godfrey Swartz. It looks like a Suzuki GSX 1100 ED from, I think, 1983. It's actually a 750cc motor. He's doing double duties, and when I said he's at tail end, Bob Grover's behind him. So he's doing double duties as well on the motard, and part owner of Dibbon Swartz Suzuki, a sponsor of, well, I guess themselves, as well as Richie Dibbon on the motard bike. So onto the front straight, Jean-Louis sits it up and drives it out of that corner. Eddie Kattenberg had the wider line there, so I think he's gained on that one. He's looking up to go up on the inside, pulls the brakes on there, makes the court, means he can trail brake in there a little bit harder, but doesn't actually gain him too much. Gains him a little bit there. It was 0.2 of a second, but that's certainly closed up, and now he's right on the tail of Jean-Louis. Eddie Kattenberg, and that area is up on the inside at turn 3, Brad Ritchie, but change of position here again. Yeah,
the old Eddie probably would have dived in there a bit harder, but just pulls up a little bit, just not quite close enough. It's a 10-lapper, so plenty of time. He's all over the back wheel of Jean-Louis now, so this one is on the post-classic senior racing. Eddie Kattenberg and Jean-Louis, they've been the stars of the show, but Eddie on that beautiful motor just winding up down the centre straight and pulls up alongside Jean-Louis. He's got the inside line ready as they break for Higgins, so that's the pass. Jean-Louis is not going to have it though. Jean-Louis breaks that a little bit later and nips around the outside, so this is great racing all on here as they go down the back straight. The battle for that the junior class is coming alive as well. Scotty Finlay, he's just snuck off in third place there. He's ahead, but then the two FZR looking bikes there, Kieran O'Neill and Dean Bentley, they are just flying down the back straight at the moment with Chris Sales in that hunt as well. So here we go, the battle for the lead really hot. There's less than a bike length in it. They're nearly side by side as they cross the line, but it's still Jean-Louis, but Eddie Kattenberg around the outside, not quite. I think Jean-Louis just got the better brakes into turn one. And then we go back to Scotty Finlay. It is Dean Bentley there on fourth place, Kieran O'Neill and Chris Sales with John Rawcliffe there, rounding up our top 8. So we're on at the moment with Jean-Louis leading them into the S's, Spider.
Yeah, indeed. At lap times, we had an 18 thousandths of a second gap between first and second. As Brad Ritchie said, it wasn't a bike length, and it was about half a bike length. And even at that speed, they're averaging 146 kilometres an hour. To be fair, I think they've done a flying lap. In fact, indeed, this is a 10-lap race, so averaging 146 k's an hour. Eddie Kattenberg a 1:14.406, a 1:14.222 for sorry, no, the other way around. Louis 1:14.4, 1:14.2 for Eddie Kattenberg there. So what's happening out on the track? It is Jean-Louis there out in the front. This promoter is stronger down this back straight, reels in a few bike lengths there. They're pretty much even for match for brakes. It closes up there, but that's all part of the braking. Around that big Go Media sweeper there for the Rutland Arms and Gilmore Homes and Builders post-classic class here at the 2019 Suzuki International Series. They've changed the name of it. They're recognising all the internationals. As we see a change going into turn one here, we're looking on Ctas, the side by side. Eddie Kattenberg's got it, and but Jean-Louis snatches it back. He runs the right wide line round the corner. Exciting racing. Scotty Finlay back in third place, charging hard. He's got about 150 metres behind these boys in the front, about the same back to that is Kieran O'Neill on the 83 machine, then Dean Bentley on the 511 machine. The 511 machine sponsored by TSS Red Baron, Sinbin Bar, Friday Home, Zany's Zeus, Fine Sign, Stokes Valley Collision Repairs, and in behind him it is who's that in behind him? John Rawcliffe, one of the seniors there on the 103 machine, enjoying his North Island sojourn, and Chris Sales there on the 321 Honda XR 500 base machine, one of the most hot motorcycles in New Zealand. The development gone onto there is just incredible. Pete Sales, an incredibly talented engineer, thinks outside of the box, and puts it into practice on the bike. So those bikes, you can see them coming out of Higgins, and look at the punch of that XR500 as it drives up high onto that back straight, but he'll lose out a bit because of the wind issue. And I'll tell you what, that bike in front of him is an FCR 1000, is reeling in Dean Bentley. Dean Bentley are just a little bit later on the brakes going into the Go Media corner. Lap times fastest on the track at 13.4 for John Louis. He's back to pace Offalis, so a little bit, probably 10 bike lengths into them as they come out of the Toyota corner with 6 laps to go. So Eddie Kattenberg, I'm going to say Eddie's got to have a good chance of winning here and make it a perfect score this weekend, but we've got a few laps to go there. Brad Ritchie.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Talking to Eddie just before, and yeah, he's carrying a slight injury through the summer, so his hands are very hard. He loses grip halfway through the race, so this 10 lapper, this will really test him, maybe just conserving a bit of energy and just trying to hang on. But John Louis doing a wonderful job out in front at the moment. That Scotty Finlay, ZX400, he's got that worked out. He's well and truly in third place and got that sewn up. And Kieran O'Neill, talked to Kieran as well, and that is an FZR 600 with a 400 motor in it. So it's got a Yamaha 400 motor in it, and he's got that thing worked out pretty well as well. He thinks just got to get the starts right, and he'll be very competitive. So good stuff from there, Kieran O'Neill. Dean Bentley in there, and John Rawcliffe all the way from Invercargill. So yeah, we talked about John earlier, and he's got the full Pre89 setup. He's got a post-classic van and a camper and the old pots and pans on the stove there. Fighter's bloody good to see.
Change of position there as they come out of the Go Media corner. There was a lapper there, and I think Eddie Kattenberg got in the front, and it stays like that in Toyota, but 2 to 3 bike lengths there. Eddie's bike's a little bit stronger in a number of places, but Jean Louis is well aware of this. He's been racing against them for a number of years. Closes up going through turn 3 into turn 2 into turn 3. We can see that cement dust on the road there, where we had the sidecar go upside down. Those boys are busy flat out trying to get that out there, and they are okay. So the lead bikes there come out of the hairpin. Eddie punches it a little bit harder, gets the drive out there. John Louis was close enough to slipstream, but not at the moment, and closing up under brakes. We go back to Scott Finlay there, lonely ride in third place. He's also post-classicing this machine. He's got to keep his concentration levels up as he goes through Bob Grover. Bob, what a legend, mate. Crashed seriously at the cemetery circuit about 3 years ago. Internal injury. I went up to saw him in the hospital. He looked almost dead, and he woke up and says, "Oh, g'day, Spidey." He says, "I was annoyed because that bike's so much faster." A bike that's tuned by Pete Sales, XR500 motor. So good to see Bob out there. He's raced at 52 Boxing Day meetings in Wanganui, so he's going for his 53rd this year. I was rapt when I saw him back out there on the track trying to get some track time and tick off enough. You've got to have 3 meetings under your belt each year before you do a street circuit, and joined by his lovely wife as well, Margaret Grover. So there, those 2 bikes going through turn 3 into 3, still 3 to 4 bike lengths between them. It was a 14.1 for John Louis on the last lap of 13.8, so 0.3 of a second different, but I think John just poked his nose in front while I was looking at the timing screen, and Eddie's gone back there, Brad Ritchie.
Yeah, Eddie just sort of missed the apex a little bit into the centre of the S's, and John Louis snuck in there, but wasn't quite close enough to dive in there. But this race has really come alive. Still, 3.5 laps to go, and John Louis now all over the back of Eddie Kattenberg, so this one's all on. Scotty Finlay still holding on that 3rd place with Kieran O'Neill. And a good 4th. John Rawcliffe is ahead of Dean Bentley, and Chris Sales in there on that beautiful XR500. They're going around the left-hander now at the moment. So action aplenty. There's battles all around. There's 2 classes in one. It is the Pre89 Post-Classic Racing, brought to you by Gilmore Homes and Builders. And thanks to the Rutland Arms. And in Wanganui, we'll be there for a few refreshments at Boxing Day, so absolutely fantastic. We go racing. There's nothing in as they cross the finish line. 3 laps to go. Eddie Kattenberg leads John Louis as they head into turn 1, and then Scotty Finlay doing a good job in 3rd place there, Spider.
Yeah, indeed. So the best lap time for Eddie Kattenberg at 13.6. He's now 14.6. So backed off the pace about a second. I can't see any pit boards out there, so he's just got to rely on instinct there. And also what you do is you hear the bike, and it's closed up a lot. It was 0.2 of a second. It's less than that now. They're going to come across a leper. That's going to be out of the hairpin, so it won't be an issue there. So Eddie Kattenberg leads. He's on the beautiful Italian Bimota FZR Yamaha 1,000 power machine. John Louis on the Japanese chassis FZR 1000 with the same motor. Don't know whether the specs are the same. A little bit more fairing there for Eddie Kattenberg, both from the Hawke's Bay there, both going into Higgins, and it closes up here. Eddie opens it up out there, and just, there was 1 bike length in it now. There's probably 6 or 7 or 8, and I I think Eddie's got this one sorted, so let's go back to third place. Scotty Finlay on the black and fluorescent yellow bike coming out of Higgins. He's on the 77 machine. Then we go back a little bit further, a couple of 100 metres, 300 metres to Kyron O'Neill. Kyron, sort of a local lad there, Woodville, which is just over, you can see all those propellers on the hill. The other side there is Woodville, so a local man there, and he is sponsored by Team GPR Performance, Buchanan Container Service and TIG Pro Engineering. So beautifully presented bike, and also a post classic. That's Pre89. That's an ancient bike, and to be competitive out there, well, of course it's post classic. This is what the class is. He's also running it in their Formula 3. Got a bit confused there. Godfrey Shorts goes through there on the 100 machine. Dean Bentley's still chasing down John Rawcliffe there on the 103 machine. So what have we got in terms of fastest lap in the last lap for Dean Bentley, Chris Sales in the lap before for Mark McKenzie, as well as Chris Beams and Bob Grover, fastest lap after 6 of the 7. So we've got 2 laps to go. The lead bike is where there.
Just coming out of Higgins there, just coming out of Higgins, flying down
well,
the
lead 2, you can't even see them, can you?
Side by side, looks like one bike from the commentary box, but Eddie's just got a little bit more hind legs on that Bermuda, but then watch Jan, he's got the brakes sorted out, so this is going to be side by side as they go around the sweeping right hand to go media. Jan Louis got to ride on the back wheel. This is going to be a drag race. The white flag is out and ready to go, so 1 lap to go. It is all on here, and where's Jean Louis going to do it? Spider, I think he might have a little look in the S's, maybe into turn 1, not quite close enough there, so this is on. We've also got the battle heating up for 5th and 6th as well, with Dean Bentley and Chris Sales coming down the back straight as well.
There's 3 or 4 good passing spots. I'm going to say they're going to come across the lap, or possibly in the hairpin. That is Tim Kendall. So right now, a bike and a half length. He closes up there. He looks on the outside coming out of turn 3 into turn 4. This is Jan Louis on Eddie Kattenberg. No, that lap is not going to be an issue. That's going to be down the straight. So half a bike length, and Eddie will punch out of this corner a little bit stronger. Opens it up. There's not enough slipstreaming room there, and it's a drag to the Higgins corner, and there is that lapper there that will come across. So the lapper holds their line. That's what they've got to do. If they've got there's no first if there's no last. So Jan Louis goes back in the front. We're looking at the Ctas footage, Brad Ritchie.
Yeah, around the outside into Higgins. Classical move from Jan Louis. Just carried a little bit more corner speed. Got up on the high bank. There's a couple of different lines you can take in, but then Eddie back on the inside, and it's braking competition. Jan Louis still holding on to it. Around the right-hander, Jan Louis still holds on to the advantage, but watch Eddie punch out of the corner. It's going to be a full-on drag race to the line. The checkered flag's ready and waiting. It's going to be Jan Louis on the 88. He's going to do it ahead of Eddie Kattenberg. That is a brilliant race from Jan Louis. Just did the move with 2 corners to go, and what a run to the line that is. What was the time there, Spider?
The time, in fact, Eddie punched out the fastest, Jan, 13.290. 13.290 compared with a 13.7, so half a second quicker in that last lap. 1:16.938 for the Scotty Finlay. Have we got a post-classic junior? We have a post-classic junior, Pre89, a 1:15.281, a 1:15.281, 1:17.7, so lap time. I've been talking to a couple of riders. They say it is quite greasy out there, so that might account for the fact that we're lower on times today. Going to go and find myself on lunch. I forgot to get lunch while it was lunch break.